Hello everyone, I'm working on a 1988 Jeep Cherokee Pioneer Renix, and I had issues with my ignition cylinder. It was very difficult to turn and start it. At one point I was having to use a pair of pliers like this to give me leverage in order to finally get it started, and I changed the ignition cylinder and still, well, I put a new one in and I tried it, still had the same problem, so I knew it was not the ignition cylinder. Okay, so I immediately took it back to the store, and I got lucky, and I want to share this with you. There just happened to be a 1990 Jeep Cherokee at a local junkyard near me, and so I wanted to go and examine that Cherokee to see. I wanted to examine the entire steering column. And whenever I got to that junkyard Jeep Cherokee, this gauge cluster was already pulled out, and it allowed me to see down the steering column. And then on that junkyard Jeep, I pulled up the steering wheel, and I pulled this housing back, and I'll pull this back so I can put my needle nose pliers in it and kind of turn it and see what actually moves. And so on the other side of this ignition cylinder, there's a little set of gears. I saw no issues there. And but before I went to the junkyard, when I started it, I tried to hone in on where that clicking noise was coming from. Then I was able to tell it was coming from underneath the dash. So now back to the junkyard. Like I said, the cluster is pulled up. I can see clearly down. When I took the ignition cylinder out on a junk Jeep, I just turned it with my needle nose pliers. I can see what was actually moving. And about 1.5 feet down, you'll see this part. Okay, from right here, starting here, about 1.5 feet down, it's under the dash, there is this part right there. Okay, and it has two connectors, a blue, a red, and it's only held on, I'm turning it around, just by two little bolts right there, two little bolts, and I think right here. And I think they're maybe 10 millimeter, but easy to come off. And then, but in order to get access to it on my vehicle, I had to take off this lower dash panel. It's held on by 10 Phillips head screws. And then there's two big silver bolts on each side of the steering wheel. I think they're 15 millimeter. You can't miss them. They're shiny silver. And that allowed me to lower the steering wheel and get access to my steering column to take this off. So I took the part like this off of the junkyard Jeep and swapped it, and this is mine here. And so basically when you turn the key, there's a rod that comes down at the end. It bends at a 90-degree angle and hooks into here, and I'll replicate it with my needle nose pliers. You look on the other side here, you see this little hole. That's where it hooks into. Okay, and you hear how noisy, and it's very hard. Okay, and this is after I actually lubricated it and let it sit overnight with lithium grease. I'm able to even move it easy like this, but it's noisy, real noisy. And the one from the junkyard was just smooth, no noise at all. And I switched it out. And also, if you can see on the bottom of this, you can see how it's kind of burned a little bit. You see the blueness, the blue charred. And see how it's nice and white and nice and clean right here. But right here, see a little bit of burning. And also what it was affecting was everything: my AC, radio, clock, blinkers, rear wiper. All of that wouldn't work intermittently. In order to get it to work, I had to just shake wiggle the ignition while driving, and it would all start working. So changing this part made it easy to start, and no problem with my accessories, AC, radio, clock, blinkers, rear wiper. And so I don't know the name of this part, but again, assuming this is a steering column, my hand here, that's a steering wheel. It sets just like that. And so it's not hard to change. And so if you have problems with your ignition, it might not be the ignition itself. It might be this. So anyways, I just want to share that with you. Again, this is a 1990 Jeep Cherokee Pioneer Renix. And if you have any questions, put it in the comments. Other than that, have a nice day.